Hey guys, Monster here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we're going to be checking out the Super EZA for STR Broly. Managed to get his event done fairly easily, get those medals, and get him fully Super Extreme Z awakened. He is full level 10 links. He's from the back in the day. I say that as if they haven't released units recently that only have 6 links, but this guy is one of the oldest Dokkan Fest exclusives in the game. He only has 6 links, unfortunately, but he is full link level 10, fully Super EZA'd. I haven't given him any skill orbs other than what he just already had already. His build I haven't touched since we found out the details. He does have his own EX skill orbs that you can get, so it's worth bearing in mind. You will probably want to grab those first before you start changing up his build. He does not need any crit in the hidden potential, as we will go over. He gets level 5, obviously, because he's an STR unit. But yeah, STR TUR Broly, the 5th Super EZA, the first STR unit to get one. Obviously, Super EZAs don't change the leader skill, so not useful for anything really outside battlefield, or the super attack effect. His is supreme damage to all enemies and raise attack for 3 turns. So, I mean, at least the raise attack for 3 turns is useful. Those buffs will carry over to the next turn if you're keeping him on rotation. But, of course, for a Super EZA, all the heavy lifting is done in the passive. So key +2 attack and defense 200%, additional 150% when attacking, so pretty decent buff when attacking. Then he gets 30% attack and defense up to 150 and 10% damage reduction up to 50 with each super attack performed. So once he's done 5 supers, he acts an extra, he'll basically be at 350% defense start of turn and 50% damage reduction. And then he gets the 150 on super, so I'm expecting to see some big numbers out of him. He changes key spheres of a random type to rainbow when there is a planetary destruction or pure Saiyan ally on the same team. So that means you can run him, because obviously he's a Broly unit that has these links, doesn't have big bad bosses, has links that work well with pure Saiyan like superclass characters. So you could run him on those kind of teams and he's still going to be orb changing, because he gives superclass allies some support, 1 key and attack 10%, and it's per rainbow orb obtained, or for extreme allies it's 1 key and attack and defense 20%. So he's a rainbow orb changer, and he's providing support with each rainbow orb that he picks up. He also gets for himself 50% crit and a guaranteed additional super for every 2 rainbow orbs. So if you pick up 4, which is the max, obviously you can't pick up 6, right? You can get 5, but you can't get 6. That means he'll have a 100% chance to crit and do 2 additional super attacks. So certainly very interesting. We got 4 rainbows at the side here, so if we go ahead and grab these, not the best starting rotation, because obviously the other legendary Super Saiyan Broly is on the turn, which means they don't get any links. If it was any of the other Brolys, we'd be able to get a couple of links active here. I guess this is the problem with having a few units now as options for this team that are all called legendary Super Saiyan Broly, but I feel like this guy is good enough that he just pushes off the in EZA one, right? Because this guy, I mean, we'll see how he like fares throughout the entire event, but he's at 240k defense start of turn. So bear in mind he gets 150% on super, which means he's getting another, what, like 360%, 360k on super. So that's putting him up to almost 600k. And then depending on how many supers he does, he's also not only getting the extra defensive buffs from doing each super, but he's also getting damage reduction. So we can go ahead and grab the 4 orbs here. That also gives everybody on the rotation, all extreme class allies are getting 80% attack and defense. So that makes a pretty big difference here. So yeah, you go up by what, like 60k extra defense, and you're now at 300 practically. So that means he's getting what, 450 on super. So he's going to be at about 750k with certain amounts of damage reduction depending on how many supers he does. So let's see how he gets on here. Cell Max is sealed in slot 1, which I mean I guess is good because it means he can't do too much damage. And I mean there's no way he'd one-turn this boo anyway, right? We're doing this event because it is one of the ones that's a little bit longer. The problem with this team and showing off new units on the Broly team is that the damage output for this team is so ridiculously high. I tried jumping into the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, like Blue Zone stage. Is it stage 3 or 4? And like, the team put out so much damage that I killed the Gohan in the 1 turn without actually the Goku like arriving into the battle. So it's a team that does an incredible amount of damage. But yeah, here goes Broly getting these supers off. Now he hasn't got a lot of links active, So his attack stats don't start off super high, but remember he's getting 30% from his super attack effect and then 30% from that part of his passive for every attack that he does, right? So I think we didn't get the hidden potential, right? We just did the 3 supers, but that means he has 30% damage reduction on top of having the, around 750k defense. So early on in an event, he's going to be tanking normals relatively well. When it comes to a super attack, obviously, you know, I mean, I guess early stages, we're probably talking, let's do 2 million. So if we take off, 30% off of 2 million, that's 1.4. He would still be taking, you know, 600-700k damage from a super. So turn 1, definitely not going to be a unit that's going to be eating super attacks. But let's go ahead and do this. I want to try and save some rainbow orbs if I can, although there's loads on the field. So go ahead and do this. And then I would rather get the key for you as well, I guess. I mean, we will finish off Boo this turn. I like the fact we got the good RNG for this turn that he sealed Tech Broly, the only character on the rotation who actually can't attack. So I'll take that, good RNG, when it comes to getting sealed. Always nice when your characters get, like, sealed on a character who can't attack, like a standby character or Tech Broly in the early turns. Or things like you get rotation locked and you get a character, like, locked in the slot that you were just going to put them in anyway. It's always nice. But yeah, AGL Broly can do some decent damage here. Should be able to finish him off. Depends on, I guess it depends if we crit on this super and whether or not we actually get another one afterwards, if not. But oh, we got an additional normal, are you kidding me? Well, that's a pain, but I guess it gives Broly a chance to get one more attack. Oh no, of course, we still have Turles to attack. Forgot all about our boy Turles at the end, my bad. So Turles is going to finish him off here. It's because I'm so used to, on this team, when you get the good starting rotations, I'm so used to floating off AGL Broly. I'm used to seeing him attack and then the turn's over. So, alright, so we'll go ahead and do this. So slot 2 now with the domain up, we got 476k. We can still get 2 buffs from our passive. And remember, we're also carrying over the attack buffs from the previous turn. Then we can get 4 rainbow orbs again. So that's pretty wild. So now he's at 588. So if he's getting 150% on super, that means he's getting like 800k defense on super, essentially. So he's going to be at 1.4 million with at least 40% damage reduction. But I was going to say that would be if he only did 1 super, which of course is impossible because we picked up 2 rainbow orbs, which means he's getting 2 guaranteed additionals, and all of his attacks in the turn have a 100% chance to crit. So he definitely seems very good, but let's see what this second turn attack stats are going to look like, because now he's got the Int Broly domain buff and the links active with Tech Broly. So we've got Super Saiyan, Saiyan Lineage, obviously we have Fierce Battle active, Prepared for Battle. So let's see what he's going to do here on his second appearance. Bear in mind, this is turn 3. So this is his second appearance. He's doing everything that he's going to be doing that we're going to see on this turn, whilst also giving the other 2 extreme allies on the team 4 key and 80% attack and defense, which is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. So he's going to start off at 18.5. So that's not bad, especially if we're considering him as a support unit. But then he goes up to 20, essentially 23. And these are all AoEs as well, so for any events where that is even going to be relevant, he's hitting all the enemies. So bear in mind, like the new stage we got today for the Family Kamehameha Gohan starts off as a fight against 4 enemies. And there you go, we got the hidden potential additional as well. So he's up to 30 million, and these were all guaranteed crits. Like, look at that ridiculous amount of damage that he did in 1 turn. And then, yeah, he's got 50% damage reduction now fully built up, so he's just going to eat all the attacks. And then Tech Broly is going to come in and finish off Buhan here. So yeah, he seems quite good. And bear in mind that he's doing all of that. So all of that damage that he just did, and like the strong defense that he has afterwards and everything, he's doing all of that whilst also giving everybody on the rotation 180% attack and defense, which is just ridiculous. So I always bring the Senzu Beans into this event just because the locking and the sealing and stuff is super annoying, especially in the early phases if they end up sealing like the showcase unit. That's definitely what we don't want. But I'll keep Int Broly here, I think, just so we can get the potential revive on the next turn. But go ahead and do this. But yeah, I mean, this guy seems very, very good. I can't believe, like, when his details came out yesterday, like, I feel like, kind of like the Tech Broly EZA, he's one of those ones where, just by reading his details on paper, it's like, okay, yeah, he's really good. I saw some people saying that he was not that great. Other people straight away were like, yeah, he's the best new Super EZA, which... I mean, I was considering, I think at this point, I'm going to do an EZA tier list, but I think at this point I was considering Kid Buu still the best EZA, and that's based on the fact that he does a lot of support while having, what, he has 60% damage reduction when fully built up. And he does okay damage, but he doesn't really do crazy damage. And of course, ideally, you want him to have Big Bad Bosses active. Whereas this Broly, when he's fully built up, he only has 10% less damage reduction than Kid Buu. I think he has about the same in terms of raw defense, but he's also then dropping multiple 20 to 30 million attack stats that are guaranteed crits, and he's also providing support. And if you get the 4 rainbow orbs, he's giving more support than Kid Buu. So I think it's one of those, like, if you had Kid Buu as the best Super EZA unit up until this point, I feel like Broly is better than him in almost every way, right? Like, outside of maybe Lynx, because he doesn't have Big Bad Bosses. But for this team now, the new Broly, like, movie boss team, like, he doesn't need Big Bad Bosses, because the only unit really on the team that has it is Cell Max, or Bio Broly if we're using him, or obviously the Turles army, although I often, like I say, I will use the Bio Broly instead of the Turles army, depending on what sort of event I'm doing. So with the support from Turles, we start off at 534k, and bear in mind we have 50% damage reduction. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this, move you over here, just so that we can get you to actually attack this turn, because otherwise we're going to miss out. We can only get 2 rainbow orbs this turn, so we'll go ahead and grab those. So with the Turles support, 2 rainbow orbs, we're at basically 600k defense start of turn. But bear in mind, we also have 50% damage reduction. So obviously he's not a unit that you're going to be putting in slot 1. So in events that don't have rotation locking and stuff like that, it's not going to be a huge issue. But yeah, 18.5 mil gets the crit. Now with the 2 rainbow orbs, obviously we only have the 50% chance to crit, but still a coin toss. And then of course we have the 10% backup chance from the level 5 crit in the hidden potential as well. So yeah, very, very good. Strong damage, good defensively. 150% on super, of course, means that 600k, like I say, goes up to being like 1.5 million with 50% damage reduction. So even if you are just going to use him as a floating 3rd slot support unit, he kind of ends up fulfilling that role of being a unit that floats around in slot 3, supports the team, but it's like almost impossible for him to get killed. Because, I mean, you know, obviously he could eat a slot 3 super, but depending on what kind of boss you're fighting, you know, we take like a 3 million damage super attack, you take 50% off of that, it's 1.5. If he's got 1.5 million defense after supering, that means he's taking double digits. Or if it's like a super class boss, obviously super versus extreme has a modifier. So at the bare minimum, he's taking like, at the most, I would say, instead of bare minimum, at the most, he's taking like 100 to 150k from a 3 million damage super attack. And that's a unit that you've got floating in slot 3, dropping crit AoEs and supporting the entire rotation. So it's kind of like Kid Buu, as I said, when he got his super EZA, it was like, oh, well, this unit is now, if he fits on your team, you put him on your team, right? Like, if he's on the leader skill, why would you not run Kid Buu? It's kind of like that for this Broly, especially for this team in particular. Like, why would you not run him? Other than that you don't have him, I guess. But it's so crazy. I mean, I know super EZAs are their own thing, so I don't know whether we should, in terms of, you guys let me know what you think, but when it comes to ranking like EZAs, not overall, but like in a celebration. So for example, like, you know, this celebration we got Int Broly's EZA, Tech LR Broly's EZA, and now we have this STR Broly Super EZA, and we have physical Goten and Trunks. Like, Super EZAs, would we expect them to be the best ones? Like, should they be better than all of the TUR EZAs? Like, I'm not sure if that is, whether that is a thing we should consider. Because my point in bringing this up is obviously Int Legendary Super Saiyan Broly got his EZA in part 1 of this celebration, and this guy now has his Super EZA. They have the same name. Like, if you had to choose between running one of the two, like, when are you ever running the Int Broly over this guy? The only time I could think you would do so is if you're fighting like a Goku boss who is AGL, because then Int Broly is getting his full passive active and doesn't have type disadvantage. Whereas this guy still obviously always has his full passive active, but has type disadvantage. But even then, like post-super, his defense is so good. And if you get the rainbow orbs, he gets guaranteed crit. So type disadvantage doesn't even really matter, right? So it's like, when are you ever using Int Broly over this guy? Like, probably never. So in terms of like new builds for the Broly team, I feel like this is probably, like I say, other than maybe changing Bio Broly for Turles, although I do like the support from Turles. It's one of those things, if I had my own Int Broly, I would be dropping Turles from the team to put on Int LR Broly and then running double tech Broly leads. And then I feel like this team would just be like cracked beyond belief. So yeah, STR Broly, absolutely insane. I know I want to use him a bit more before I make the tier list, so that'll probably be out tomorrow. But like, I feel like he's the best Super EZA, right? Because like I said, I feel like if I thought Kid Buu was the best Super EZA, I feel like this guy is just Kid Buu, but better in almost every way. So then that would make him the #1, right? So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. STR Broly Super EZA, absolutely busted. Can't wait to use him in some other events, but let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.